Okay, so this is a picture of me and Samuel L. Jackson in 2008. I love that sweater. I think it was an H&M sweater. I was living in New York City. I just moved there actually from Norway. And I was asked to go and interview Samuel L. Jackson for a movie called Jumper. And I was like, oh my God, how does this work? I had no idea. And it was super scary. I remember waiting for the subway and I was like, okay, I'm going to pee myself now. This is the scariest thing I've done in my entire life. So I got to the hotel and he was there and I was sent into this room. It was just me and him for about 20 minutes. And I was grabbing my recorder and then I realized I didn't have a recorder because I forgot it at home. So it all started off terribly wrong. And I had to write down everything he was saying. It was just like the worst nightmare ever, but he was so sweet. He was the sweetest guy. As you can see from the photograph, he was like very understanding. And I told him I've never done this before. And he was like, you're doing great, which I wasn't, by the way. But I just thought I wanted to share that with you guys because some people asked me, what was your first interview and how did you end up doing this job? So let me tell you how I ended up doing this job. I'm still a huge fan of Sex and the City. I watched it like every episode, like probably 10 times. I know the quotes, I know everything about that show. And I watched it when I was living in Norway and I was like, oh my God, I want to have a life like they have, the girls living in New York City. And especially because Carrie, you know, she was a freelance journalist. And I was like, I'm a freelance journalist. I can have that life. I want to go to New York City and live like that. And so I did. I booked a one-way ticket from Oslo to New York in 2007. And guess what? I ended up living almost, not really, but I ended up living in a rent-stabilized apartment just like Carrie did, which is really hard to find in New York. And I was making a living from writing articles. And that's also how I ended up meeting Sarah Jessica Parker and the other girls from Sex and the City, which was like a dream come true for me. Well, it was a dream until I sat down with Sarah Jessica Parker and she wasn't really who I was hoping she would be. She had very little energy and she wasn't being very friendly towards me, so I was really disappointed. Another lesson, like never meet your hero, as they say, and I have to say that was disappointing. I still love the show though, and the thing is, last year, which is a lot of years later, I met Kim Cattrall, who plays Samantha in the show, and she was super cool. As you know, she had a feud with Sarah Jessica Parker, and that's why she ended up not doing, and just like that, the TV show, the sequel from Sex and the City. Anyways, I met her in Chicago and I told her that the reason why I moved to New York was because of the show, and this is what she said. So I moved from Norway to New York because I watched Sex and the City. That's how...
You foolish girl, you.
How's
that going? And you stayed?
Yes. Well, now I'm in LA, but I stayed in New York.
Do you miss
for 10
New
years.
York?
Yes, I do. It was the best.
It is
best.
missable.
Yeah. Also, of course, I had to ask her, you know, what people say when they approach her. Because I always find that fascinating. When you're very known for one part, people think you are that person, you know. So fans would come up to you. I'm talking like they do that, but I've asked so many celebrities about this, and this is actually something they say, you know, people do expect them to be the character they're playing, which is far from the truth with Kim Cattrall and Samantha. Just listen. When they meet you, like, I believe that you are Samantha because I've seen you in like her so many times.
That's such a great compliment. You know, I think that means that we've done a good job if you believe. Then it can get a little crazy where you say I'm just really a person, you know. But I think it's very healthy for a lot of actors to say, well, that's the Kim Cattrall that people know, and then there's the Kim Cattrall that I am.
When people approach you now,
yes,
they must still approach you in the street and whatever when they see you.
Sometimes they do. It's not as bad as it used to be, where people would say, oh, hold on, can you talk to my girlfriend? If you do, I'll get laid tonight. You know, something like that.
No, they
would
not.
Yeah.
So if you want to see more of that interview, I'll leave the link below. It was such a nice conversation I had with her. She, as I said, she's such a sweetheart, and yeah, I love her. I've asked a lot of celebrities about how they feel about fame and being recognized all the time, and I think almost everyone reacts differently. Some people enjoy it and some people really hate it. And I spoke to Emilia Clarke about this because she's also very known for a big role, you know, in Game of Thrones. And I asked what happens when she go out, how people react to her. And this is what she said.
There's this great quote that I love. Simon Pegg, the fabulous actor, said it in a magazine that I read once. And he said, being famous is like wearing a stupid hat you can't take off. Because that's how it feels. You're like,
is that like toilet
I
paper
can't
on
get
my
it
like,
yeah, exactly.
on my face?
Yeah, what if I don't want to be looked at? It's stuck on my head.
But you were in a TV show, people think that you were actually
Oh,
their
yeah.
friend much more.
Yes.
I think even than from a movie.
Yes. And because I have the same with other actors that I admire. The ones from TVs, the one from like, and you know, I see anyone for Sopranos, and I'm like, oh my god.
Because you live with that character, like you,
yes.
you through these so many seasons.
But there's something a little novelty about the mother of dragons. So when you're in a bar situation, it can get quite funny because they're like, because it can get quite jokey because it's fantastical. It's
Everybody's a comedian.
Everybody's a goddamn comedian.
So if you ever wonder what it's like to be famous, you just put on a stupid big hat and you walk outside, and that's it. Okay, so I wanted to address some of the things that people said in the comment section for my other videos. One person asked me if there was anything I would have done differently in the infamous Blake Lively interview. And I think, you know, I don't think I would have done anything differently today, because there wasn't much I could do. I mean, I could have interrupted them in the middle of their conversation and said, hi, I'm doing the interview here. But if I would have acted like that or been aggressive in any way, I would have just ended up being the bad person, basically. And they probably would have confiscated my tape. Because that does happen in these situations, you know, if you say something that they don't like, or if they're behaving in a way that their publicist or someone else doesn't like, you know, it does happen quite often that you will never see that interview. And I think that's what would have happened to me. And then you also asked if I had any advice to other journalists in the same situation. And I would say just always be professional, you know, don't start answering back. It's never going to get you anywhere. I don't think it's going to get you anywhere in life either. So just stay professional and be the better person. I think that's the best advice I'd have. Okay, so I just wanted to end this on a positive note, showing the interview I did with Samuel L. Jackson when I told him that he was my first ever interview, and he did this.
Good.
You were my first ever interview.
Ever?
10 years ago, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Now you're all polished.
And I was so scared, but so nice to meet you again.
Thank
You're
you.
so amazing.
Always good to see you.
I have a picture of us from the first 10 years.
Well, take another one,
Yes, can we do that?
please.
Yes, I would love that. Tony?
Do it.
That interview turned R-rated, and I will talk about that in another video, but it turned out very funny, actually. So that's something to look forward to. Apart from that, I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Here in LA, it's a heat wave going on, so it's super hot outside, so I'm staying inside for now. Anyways, take care and be nice to each other. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it.